Hello CraftDee Family, and welcome to another tutorial by She's So Crafty. For today's DIY project, we'll be creating 5 Christmas and holiday themed DIYs to decorate your home. Now these decor items are super easy to make and they're perfect if you're just getting started into crafting. Now these all feature beautiful buffalo check print and they combine it with festive holiday greenery to liven up your space. Now we'll provide detailed step-by-step instructions to help you complete your own beautiful creations, and no worries, I provided the list of supplies and tools used to make these projects in the description box below. Now I'm so excited to share this tutorial with you, but before we start, I wanted to say hey, and welcome back to my amazing subscribers and visitors to my channel. Now if you are a new visitor to my channel today and you love to create fun and easy DIY projects on a budget, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also click that notification bell so you will be the first to know when a new DIY tutorial is ready to share. So now let's jump right into the projects. Now the first project is a buffalo check bulb holiday decor piece. Now for this project we'll start with one of these bulb signs from the Dollar Tree, some buffalo check fabric from Joann's, some greenery and berries, and also a few bells from the Dollar Tree, and this little sign from the Dollar General. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the bulb sign and we want to remove all of those tags. And then go ahead and pry off that metal part up top with a flathead screwdriver. So now go ahead and grab your fabric and you want to spread it out nice and even and position your bulb sign right on top of it. Now you can also use scrapbook paper as well if you like. Now to adhere the fabric to the sign, I will be using this Mod Podge, so you want to apply an even coat to the entire front of the sign. And then place your sign face down, nice and even on the fabric. And then make sure you press it into place. And then take your scissors and you want to cut your bulb out, leaving about a ½ inch or so around the edge. Now once everything looks good on the front, flip it back over to the back, and what we're going to do is apply hot glue around the edge and then fold that loose fabric edge over it and secure it to that glue all the way around. And once that's done, we can go ahead and reattach that metal portion back on top with hot glue. Now to cover the raw edges on the back of the fabric, we are going to cover the back with some craft paper and just apply some hot glue around the back of your bulb piece and place it on top of that craft paper. And then we're just going to trim off the excess with an X-Acto knife. And now the back of your piece has a nice clean finish. So now I'm going to take that little sign, and to help those words stand out a little better, I'm going to outline it with a black Sharpie. Now this is completely optional and my buffalo check background kind of blends in, so this will help it pop a little better. And now it's time to decorate our piece. So I'm just going to take my greenery and my berries and I want to add them to the top of our bulb. Now I'm just going to go ahead and shape the greenery however I like it, and once it's in place, what you want to do is just add some hot glue to the piece on each side of the center. And then I'm going to add a cluster of the berries on each side. And just hot glue those into place. So now we're going to add our words, and we're just going to make sure they're centered near the bottom. Now I also wanted to add some bells, so I'm taking a piece of some jute string, and what I'm doing is I'm tying a bell on each end. Now you want to make sure when you do tie your bells onto the string, you want to make sure you make a double knot. Now I wanted my bells to have a staggered look when I applied to my piece, so I made the adjustments and then I tied a knot at the fold at the top point. And then if everything looks good, what you're going to do is you're going to apply a generous amount of hot glue to the middle and secure that string into place. Now to kind of hide that string, I'm just going to take a piece of jute string and tie a small bow. And then I'm going to hot glue that bow right in the center. And now your piece is ready to display. And here is that completed project. Now I love how festive this piece turned out. Now I'm really loving all the greens and florals at Dollar Tree this year, and it really adds so much beauty to your creations. Now I chose this believe sign, but you can choose any sign that you like for your project. You guys have to let me know where you would display a sign like this in your home. Now the second project is a set of buffalo check winter house decor pieces. For this project, we'll start with 2 of these triangle signs from the Dollar Tree, some of these wood houses from Dollar General, and more of this buffalo check fabric I got from Joann's. So the first thing we're going to do is to grab that bag of wood houses and we're going to remove those pieces. Now after sorting through them, I decided to use 2 of the smaller size houses for this project. And then we're going to take our frames and remove them from the packaging. We also want to remove that little circle design on top. Now, no need to worry about the residue left behind since I will be sanding this off later. So now we're going to get everything ready to paint. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove those inserts from the frames. Now I will be using this white chalk paint to paint my frames and my houses. But first, I'm going to sand down that little bit of glue residue off the top of the frame. So now what we're going to do is just apply a coat of that chalk paint to the frames and also to the houses. Now when I paint my houses, I like to start on the outside first. And then once the outside is covered, then I'll paint the face of the house and also in the windows and openings. And then just repeat this for the second house. Now you want to set all these to the side to dry. And now you can grab those picture inserts in your fabric or your scrapbook paper. Now you want to position your inserts where they will be aligned evenly with the pattern. And then take your Mod Podge, and what you want to do is you want to apply it to the front of your insert. And then go ahead and place it face down on your fabric. And then you're going to repeat the process for the second insert. And now all you have to do is trim off all of that excess fabric. And then you can cut out your inserts. And now that they're all nice and trimmed, we can go ahead and grab your frames and we're going to place our inserts back in. Now you do want to be careful with those little clippies. I did break one off, but it doesn't impact it. So now everything is inside, we're going to grab those houses. Now what you want to do is apply just a bit of hot glue to the back, and you want to apply it to the corner of the frame. And then you want to do the same for the other piece. Now I had some of these little bottle brush trees left over from another project, but these are also sold at the Dollar Tree. But to help my trees lay flat in my frame, I'm just going to trim the back just a little bit, and then I'm going to apply some hot glue to the back and apply it in place, and do the same for that second tree. Now in my frames, I have a large and a small tree bundled. Now after adding trees to the second frame, this is what they'll look like. So now I'm going to add some small pine cones that I had on hand, and I will be adding a frosted effect with this white acrylic paint. Now all you want to do is just dab it on the outside and in the inside of those cones. Now if you need to purchase these cones, I did see these at Dollar General for $1 for a 12-pack. So now that my pine cones are nice and dry, we can add them to our frames. Now what we're going to do is we're going to place 3 of these small pine cones at the top of each frame. Now once they are positioned the way you like, you can just go ahead and hot glue them into place. And here are your frames, all complete. And now we can place these on display. Now I think these turned out absolutely great. Now I'm loving the neutral color palette on these, and it creates a nice clean palette. Now these houses are the perfect accent to these, and there's so many in the package to choose from. And I love the added pine cones to the top. However you decide to decorate with these, they will look super cute. Now the third project is a pair of holiday candle sleeves. Now for this project, we'll start with 2 tall candles from the Dollar Tree, 1 of these chopping mats from the Dollar Tree, and some of this buffalo check fabric. Now the first thing we're going to do is to open and remove 1 of the chopping mats from the package. Now we'll be cutting this down to size, so grab your grid mat. Now we're going to be cutting 2 strips that are 4 inches wide with an X-Acto knife and a ruler. Now here are your 2 strips. So take 1 of those strips and you want to wrap it around the candle, and you want to make a mark where the strip overlaps the other end by about 1 inch. And once you have your mark, just transfer that mark to the other strip. And now you can cut off the excess where you marked. So now just grab your candle, and you want to wrap the strip around the candle and hot glue it where it overlaps. Now you want to make sure that it's not too snug and that you leave some play. Now once you do hot glue it and it's in place, what you want to do is just use a piece of painter's tape to hold it while the hot glue completely dries. And then repeat this for the second one. So now you want to take that leftover piece and you want to draw 2 circles using the tubes you made. Now the first ones I made looked kind of wonky, so I just traced them again, and this time using the candle for a more uniform circle. And these look so much better. So now we just cut out the circles we just traced. So now we're going to take one of the circles and we are going to run a bead of hot glue around the edge. Now we're going to do this for each circle and place one of those circles at the end of each of the tubes. So now you go ahead and remove that tape, and we're going to prepare it for the fabric covering. So we're just going to grab that piece of fabric, and we want to cut a length that will wrap 2 tubes and have about a 1-inch overlap. And once we have that total length figured out, what we're going to do is just cut that piece in half, 1 for each tube. So now I'm just going to grab one of the tubes and I am going to cover it in Mod Podge on the outside of the tube. And then I'm just going to place it on my fabric and I want to roll it up. You want to make sure you have fabric on both ends overhang. And then on the end, you want to add some hot glue to seal it. And now you can trim down any of the edges. Now when you trim down the top, you want to leave about 1/4 of an inch on the top edge, and this will be folded into the tube and secured in place with hot glue. And then for the bottom, what we're going to do is apply hot glue around the bottom edge and then just fold in that fabric to seal. Now once both of these are done, we're going to cover the bottom with some craft paper. So you just want to apply hot glue to the bottom of your sleeves and then press it onto the paper. Now I'm just using a marker to make sure it has a good connection at the bottom. And then take your X-Acto knife and just trim off the excess craft paper. So now we can start adding our embellishments. So I had some of this greenery and berries on hand, and I'm just going to nestle them together to make 2 bunches. And then we're going to place 1 bundle on each one of those sleeves. Now I'm just going to place a rubber band around it just to hold it in place temporarily. And then I'm going to lift the end there and I'm going to carefully start applying some hot glue under the bundle to secure it. And then apply a tad more to the sides. Now when both pieces are dry, you can remove the rubber bands and we can decorate them with this silver cording. Now all I'm going to do is to tie a bow around each one of the sleeves. And then once both of these are done, we can add our candles inside. And here are our beautiful candles on display. Now I absolutely love how these turned out. I think these sleeves are super cute, and the best thing is that they're removable when you want to burn your candle. Now I am showing them lit for display purposes, but always exercise caution when burning candles in your home. Now I can't wait to create different sleeves for the different seasons. Now the 4th project is a set of snowflake holiday arrangements. Now for this project, we'll start with 2 of these snowflake mason jars from the Dollar General, some garland that I spray painted for a frosty look, some pine and berry bunches from the Dollar Tree, and some buffalo check ribbon. Now the first thing we're going to do is to take the jars and remove all of the lids. Now I'm going to be using 1 coat of this chalk paint for this project. Now when applying the paint, you do want to use continuous vertical strokes, and this will avoid any brush marks. You just want to continue this all the way around and then let both jars completely dry. And now that they are dry, we want to highlight that little snowflake on the front of the jar. Now to do this, I'll be using this black acrylic paint. Now I'll be using this old sanding sponge to stamp the color on, and this will highlight the raised snowflake. Now all you want to do is just apply some of that paint to your sponge. And then you just want to tap this on top of the snowflake and then just tap it until you get the desired look. And then repeat this on the other jar. Now once both of them dry, we're going to protect the jars with a coat of Mod Podge. Again, you want to make sure that when you apply it that the strokes are continuous from top to bottom. And now that both jars are dry, we can start to decorate them. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my garland, and what I'm going to do with it is cut about 4 sections about 12 inches long. And then grab 2 of those branch pieces and you want to place them into one of the jars, and then just start to spread and fluff them to fill it out. And then you can grab one of those pine and berry bundles, and we're going to trim the length to fit. Then we just add it into the jar and we're going to blend it in with the branches. And now you grab your ribbon and you want to cut a piece long enough to tie around the opening of the jar. Then just go ahead and tie a bow around the threads of the jar. Now you want to go ahead and trim all the edges of your ribbon, and you can also seal the end of the ribbon with a lighter if you like. And then just complete the second one. And here they are. Oh my goodness, I love, love, love how these turned out. Now I think that the holiday colors in these arrangements are so beautiful. And the cute little snowflakes on the front are simply adorable. Now these arrangements are so easy and they turn out so high-end looking and expensive. I love it. Now the 5th project is a set of scrap wood display gift boxes. So for this project, we'll need some of these thick scrap wood pieces in various sizes, and we'll also need some buffalo check ribbon. So now I took my pieces outside and spray painted them white, but you can certainly paint them with chalk paint or acrylic if you like. Now what I'm going to do now that they're dry, I'm going to be using this black acrylic paint to lightly distress the edges. I'm just doing this with a chip brush with very, very little paint on it. And once done, you're going to repeat for all of the other pieces and let them dry. So now I'm going to take my ribbon and we're going to wrap a piece first around the center. And just go ahead and trim all the ends as needed and secure in the center with hot glue. Now this connection side won't be seen, it'll be covered with greenery, so you don't have to make it absolutely neat, but it's good to close in all of the edges. So then we're going to add the ribbon in the other direction, and we want to secure that into the center as well. And just add hot glue and tighten up those ends. And here is how each one of them will be wrapped, and we just want to repeat this for all of our other pieces. So now all of our pieces are ready to be embellished. Now I'm going to be using these pieces of frosted greenery and berries from the Dollar Tree. Now I just want to apply one piece of greenery to the center of each of the wood pieces and then secure them in place with hot glue. And now we can add our berries. So I'm just going to trim the stems down to fit and then secure them in the center of the greenery with hot glue. And once all the berries are attached, I'm going to use some small pieces of scrap greenery to cover up the berry stems. And now all of our pieces are completed. And now we can place these on display. How adorable is this gift box display? Now this is such a fun way to use all those scrap pieces of wood you may have laying around. And I think the ribbon and the greenery blend so well together, and these look amazing. Now I had so much fun making all 5 of these holiday projects. You guys have to let me know in the comments which one was your favorite today. Listen, if you love DIYs on a budget, give this video a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Make sure that you're following She's So CraftDee on Facebook for the latest new sneak peeks and giveaways. Thank you so much for visiting and checking out my tutorial today. If you like videos like these and you don't want to miss the next one, make sure you're subscribed by clicking that subscribe button below and turning on that notification bell. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.